They got to decide what was even done with, it was their decision as to how this was written, what they wanted to say, and what was to be done with it. My group decided that it would be sent to every member of the congressional delegation from the state of Colorado. So both senators and 7 representatives were sent this document. They also wanted it sent to the local newspapers to see if one of the newspapers would print it as an op-ed piece. Then we're now in the process, when I get back to the United States in next month, of collating all 7 statements and preparing a briefing for the Science and Technology Committee of the House. So does that give you some idea of a possible?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? What were the results philosophically interesting?
What kind of question is that?
Yeah. That's my disappointment. That in some respects, no. In some respects, yes. But I was disappointed with somewhat with the vigor of the discussion and with the quality of the outcome. There were some important points that I think the single most important thing that came out of my group, that other than just bromides about be careful and we shouldn't waste money and that kind of stuff. There were a few bromides like that, but that they thought that this experience for them was very valuable. And that this experience, this kind of experience, should be continued, and they should have more time. They felt like it was not enough time in 1 month. So I was gratified by that they found it a valuable experience and wanted more.
The next question gives me the opportunity also to introduce to you guys the financial director of EGS, Heinz Kilias, who is actually a PhD from MIT. So hopefully, maybe not test
in material science.
Without him, no money.
I'm not talking about finances. What you just described is kind of for me, a representative democracy, where you try very carefully and intelligently to choose speakers for the poll. Are you aware that, of course, here in Switzerland, we have the experience, and a rather recent experience, of a much more direct democratic control of science and technology, because we had about 3 years ago, in Switzerland, like in California, we had the possibility of referendum, and there was a referendum that Switzerland should put into law a moratorium on genetic engineering, on all genetic technology and research in Switzerland, as far as that for 10 years, is it now 5 years? In 5 years, there should not be any experimentation with animals or with plants in laboratories or particularly in the outside. And Switzerland should not, for these 5 years, import or allow importation of any genetic altered products, be it animals or plants. Now, why I'm re-saying that is that this was, of course, immediately fought by all of the chemical industry, by all of the universities. It was fought by, not by the farmers, interestingly, but because the farmers were for it, because they said by not having products, potatoes or what have you, which are clearly genetic-free, gain-free, this is going to be an advantage in the market for Swiss farmers. But really, that's not just this. It was, of course, an alliance of many different things, because finally it was won. This moratorium.
It was passed,
and it was passed in by quite a margin of something like 55 to 45%. But actually, the discussion, which was, of course, in the preparation for this vote, was really in the newspaper, but it was on television. There were big groups who came in here. And finally, the decision came down to the parliamentary group in our parliament who had to make recommendations. They had to make hearings before. And these hearings were again televised. And I must say, and I can say that as a physicist myself, these were not silly questions or just questions of anxiety or what have you. But they were really thought out questions about what does it mean, for instance, to have such giants like Monsanto or even Swiss Syngenta companies who are controlling the economy of third world countries, you know, because people are becoming dependent every year to buy such genetic altered plants and seeds, etc. And together with actually the idea that yes, perhaps this is something where we should have a moratorium, and so it was voted in there. This was 3 years ago, and now 2 years before it is ceasing and stopping the moratorium. The government itself has now decided to prolong the moratorium for another 3 years.
Oh,
because
amazing. I did not know about that, and I'm very, I really, great. I got to study, I got to learn more about that.
And then now we're coming back to media and communication, because all those proceedings and the power struggle behind it in the parliament were the subject of a film. And that film, a documentary film, it's a German called Mais im Bundeshaus. Mais, of course, has a double meaning in German. It's corn, but it also, mais means also chaos, you know. And actually, in Swiss German. And that documentary film got a prize at the Locarno Film Festival. And so if you ever would like to have that, I'm sure you can find that.
I'm making a note of myself.
But don't be too heavy about it, Carl.
Okay.
Because in Great Britain at the same time, the Parliament decided exactly the opposite, so to open up genetic engineering in all cases, including human clonings, you know, because the Britons don't believe in God or nature or their you know, so they believe to see whatever happens, we will deal with it. To say to people, don't touch, that's parents' attitude. It's not the attitude of an experimental spirit. Yes, I know so many biases here. We want to keep our life how it was, like it was so good before. So, yes, please.
Well, that's what kept coming to mind in this whole discussion in your class, and how with technology, I mean, this is an age-old problem. Is on one hand being excited about the new and wanting to go forward and meet people who are excited at the helm, but at the same time not wanting to lose the old, but also not wanting to romanticize the old and not let that keep you from going forward. That's our age-old difficulty, is trying to figure out how much of the new. And it's actually, to me, it's wonderful actually that they take this pause. Like, what are we doing? We have an alternative. Why not take this pause?
But the good thing is, what you are pointing out, is that the discussion happened. It was the same in Great Britain. It was a discussion, so many people get involved in it, and what they decide, because this more really means nothing at the end, because let me tell you, the scientists do whatever they want.
What he says.
Yeah, what he says.
What he says that there is a higher intelligence in such a democratic decision.
No, but this is not true. It is not higher and it is not lower. Both sides are asking too much. In intelligence working, that's enough. You know, you don't have to ask for more. Yes.